Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin as we enter the weekend. Of course, Bitcoin never sleeps, crypto never sleeps. Therefore, the weekend in crypto is also busy. Okay, so what we want to talk about in this video is I want to give you an update about Bitcoin at the moment. It's looking promising again in line with expectations at the moment. But I want to communicate to you here very clearly that we are still very much in a state of uncertainty. And there are a couple of wave counts which are possible here. I had a few questions about a few wave counts I want to take you through. So it might be a bit of a longer video, not too long. I don't want to make it too long. We start with my standard wave count that I mainly focus on here in the videos. This wave count is playing out at the moment nicely, which doesn't mean it is the one that in the end has to work out. Yeah, so at the moment, this is for me the one that I follow. For me, it makes sense. It's logical. Yeah, and why would I go with another one if this one is working out at the moment? Yeah, but I still, of course, with any chart, I always have other wave counts under consideration. But I can't always make 20-minute videos to take you through all the charts. So, but in this video, I think it's very important that you understand in which situation we are here with Bitcoin. First things first, currently I'm following the bullish scenario, a 60% probability for the bullish scenario, which means it's carefully bullish, it's balanced nevertheless, and I'm still allowing the possibility of making another lower low. This is absolutely possible as per the chart. I know that we are still here in an uncertain environment, and I know that Bitcoin at any point in time could crash down and make another lower low. That is at the moment absolutely possible with the current wave count that we have here. As long as certain levels are holding, however, we can focus on higher, and therefore we start with my primary expectation. That suggests that we have seen here from the June 18th low, a wave 1 to the upside, a wave 2 down. We are now in the larger wave 3. That can take us to 30k and above. That wave 3, because we have various subwaves of the wave 3. Here, for example, a wave 1 and a 2 and another 3. And then again in this wave 3, we also have a wave 1 and a 2 and another 3. And in this last wave 3, we've also created here another 1-2 setup. So let me zoom in. We're also breaking out again of this bear flag, yeah, which is good. So the market is pushing higher, basically as expected here. After we hit into my reversal area here in green, we are now pushing higher. We are, however, currently struggling to get above that wave B high. So where are we here imminently? So this wave count suggests that from the low at 20,700, we made a wave 1 to the upside. We came down in a wave 2. Now, I had this wave 2 before here. You will remember, oops, this wave 2 was before here. Yeah. But then when we made this strong move down, I adjusted the wave count and said, all right, it makes more sense the wave A was here, the wave B here, and the wave C here, and that the wave 2 wasn't finished before here, finishing off this way ABC pattern. Yeah, this wave count also suggests that from here then we moved up impulsively in new wave 1 within the wave 3 in yellow. We came down in a wave 2 into my reversal area. We haven't reached yet the ideal retracement. The ideal retracement would be here 23,460, which is the 1-to-1 ratio of waves A and wave C. Okay, it doesn't matter necessarily because we have reached the reversal area and we're pushing higher. But this doesn't mean this is over the move down. As I said before to you, a really good indication or a case we can make that the wave 2 is over is if we break above the wave B high. Ultimately, the best indication or evidence that the wave 2 is over would be a move above the wave 1 high here at 24,900, and ultimately we can then push higher. In a wave 3, that should end somewhere around 27,000. But this is only the green wave 3, and all the other wave 3s, which are going to push much higher, yeah, which have started here already, they also will need to be finished. So that shows you that they will all push much higher. So this is the most bullish scenario. Yeah, this is the most bullish one because, as I said before, with this scenario that the chart is supercharged. Okay, it is basically supercharged because all these waves 1 and 2, they need to work out finally their wave 3, 4 and 5s. Yeah, and this is currently my primary expectation unless I'm being proven otherwise. But as I said, we have always other options we can fall back to. This is here at the moment the chart where we first need to hold the 23,600 low, here the wave 2 low in green. If that doesn't hold, not a disaster, but then we at least would need to hold here the 22,650 level. And if this fails, the 20,700 level needs to hold. Now if we lose that, then it's gonna get critical for this scenario as well. So ultimately we need to allow some flexibility here at the moment, because the Bitcoin chart allows at the moment just different options. But for this scenario, the most bullish one, I showed you what needs to be done. We need to break above 24,900 eventually, and then can push higher. Okay. Next option, and I will create another chart for this now. Okay. Next option is that from the low on the 18th of June, this is also a bullish scenario. Do I see it very likely? No. This is the scenario where we can see all of this as a wave 1, the whole thing as a wave 1, in a leading, expanding diagonal, basically also assuming the low is already in, but we count all of this as a leading diagonal in a 5-wave move, where we would consider that wave as a wave 1, we then came down in a wave 2, we then moved up in a wave 3 already, possible, we then moved down in a wave 4, and in a leading diagonal you have different options. You can count it as 5s and 3s, yeah, which is possible here. Wave 5 up, a wave 3 down, wave 5 up, wave 3 down, or 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. So it's also possible. And then we would be doing this wave 5 now. No? Yeah. Very important. In an expanding leading diagonal, you can have overlaps between waves, and the wave 5 is normally the longest wave. But also in this scenario of the leading diagonal, there are various options. So in this scenario, we could push higher straight away, or we could even come down a little bit more before we go higher. But this scenario would suggest that actually before we see, well, that we can push a bit higher, yeah, that we can push a little bit higher, but then we would already see the wave 2 retracement, because the peak of the wave 5 would be a wave 1 in itself. Okay, so to be honest, this scenario actually makes sense. I find it unrealistic because that Bitcoin, after such a strong correction, creates a leading diagonal is unrealistic. But given what Ethereum is doing, because this would basically be the Ethereum wave count as well, in terms of Ethereum is already in the wave 5, Bitcoin as well, it's just much weaker, which would actually make sense from a leading, it sort of would match the wave counts to Ethereum, okay? So it's actually not too unrealistic, it's possible. I would consider it. Now, if you have a leading expanding diagonal, the wave 5 can also be a truncated wave. It could theoretically already be finished and we could smash down here at any moment. Or it could push a little bit higher. Let me just see where we could move to. Yeah, so we already reached the 1-to-1 projection target here of the, so basically the wave 1, same length as the wave 5. Yeah, so we've already reached that. So here we need to be on high alert that this wave 5, yes, we could push a bit higher, but it could also be finished already and we could come down in a wave 2 already. So this is what I mean. We need to be a bit flexible here at the moment with the different scenarios on the Bitcoin chart. We have various possibilities at the moment and we just need to be a little bit flexible. This is a possibility, okay? And if we say, all right, wave 4 was finished here, then the way this is to count the subwaves as well, yeah, we could count this as the wave A, we could count this as the wave B, and then a wave C to the upside. That would allow for further upside. If you think, why would a wave 5 have 3 waves? Again, I explained, we can count each of these waves in a leading diagonal as a zigzag, 3-wave move. Another possibility would be that the wave B can still go a bit lower before we see this with the wave C to the upside. No? So again, we need to be a bit flexible at the moment. We have a lot of, due to the volatility that we saw here recently, various options have become possible. Yeah, and then we also have the bearish option, of course, that we can also allow still. And for that, I go back to the original chart that I just had. Bitcoin. Because there is the option that this retracement here, that from the drop from March, April, early in the year to the low here of June, that we are now only in a retracement, basically, yes, in a bear flag of this move down. And the key resistance level here would be in this area that I've already shown you before, around $25,700 to $25,800. So if we get a strong bearish reaction here and move down impulsively, that opens up the possibility for another lower low. So you can see at the moment, sometimes it's better to just wait. Yeah, Bitcoin is currently, there is a lot of uncertainty. There was a lot of volatility. Still, I think we have worked this chart quite well. We've reached various target areas, but we just need to be a bit flexible, a bit open at the moment to various possibilities. And I did want to present them to you so that you understand as well that at the moment we just have a certain state of uncertainty. You've got my primary expectation, there's the leading diagonal, which is also realistic, and then we even have the bearish scenario that is still likely with a 40% probability. So let's see, maybe on the weekend we already know more. Yeah. So if we now, what I can tell you, if we now go through this, so in the primary scenario, if we push through this resistance area here that I showed you that is so relevant for the bearish scenario, if we go through that to the wave 3 high here at around 27K, then the leading expanding diagonal pattern is pretty much done. It's invalidated, and also the bearish one will get much less likely. Yeah, and that would just confirm my bullish primary scenario. If we now very shortly here struggle, probably won't, if we don't get above, let's say 25 to 26K, then it is either the leading expanding diagonal or the bearish one, and then we just need to see how the structure is evolving. Okay, so hopefully that made clear the 3 key scenarios that are possible here. Hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then check out the channel membership, and also make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.